Hey guys, it's JQ Crafty. Welcome back to Tuesdays in the Attic. We are on week 50. We have 3 to go, including this one. It's crazy. I have, so this is a nice multi-photo layout. A lot of layers behind it. So I have some photos that I'm going to use. I might ditch one of them. I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to use for sure, but it's all about when a windstorm took out half our tree, and my son started calling it the sad tree. And this was back in 2016. He was pretty little, but he was very concerned about the sad tree. So I have a really good photo of him looking out the window, watching the guys work on it, and some really good photos of the sad tree. I'm just trying to figure out, which ones I want to use. I might ditch this one. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I've got... wanted to play with something pretty and florally, even though it's outdoors and it doesn't necessarily need to be pretty. So I've got some crepe paper fresh bouquet, a lot of embellishments left, not a lot of paper, so we'll see what I can get out of it. But yeah, that's what my plan is, so let's get started. So I really love all the layers in this sketch. How each layer has kind of like a layer behind it or like a matting. I really enjoy that. So I wasn't sure at first which papers I wanted to use, but then looking at what pieces I had kind of left over, it kind of made the decision for me, and it works because I like the combination of the colors. So I'm taking some scraps and trimming things down. So there's that kind of square layer that's kind of the very back layer. And I'm going to cheat a little, which is great when you can do this and use up some pieces. And I'm going to use that orange floral, more orangey floral that you just saw. I had only a thin strip. I'm going to cut that in half and kind of mimic the corners of it, or the edges of a square backing piece. I've got this other blue with the light pink floral that I really, really like. And I play with a few papers, but ultimately decide to do the chevron print pink, and then the dark blue floral print for the long skinny strip, or the tall skinny strip. And then I'm gonna mat everything on a paper, and it all gets kind of a different mat. Two things get the same mat, but everything else gets a different one. So I'm trimming my photos down to what the sketch says, so mostly 3x4 and then a 2x2. Mine ends up being 2.5x2.5, just because I didn't want to cut too much more off of the photo. It was it's just a picture from the street of the city workers kind of chopping the tree up and what fell of the tree, and then like our house in the background. So I cut off quite a bit of it, but I didn't want to cut off so much that you can't really tell like what the heck, why the photo was taken where. So, but I really like this background, this black, this white with black like grid. And I decide after I'm getting it all figured out and trimmed down, I'm gonna mat it really thick border on black. But then I really want the floral pattern that's on the back. I don't want to just get rid of all of it, and I'm gonna be covering up a big chunk, so I figured I would gut out just a chunk in the middle, just so I get to keep some of that floral and use it on a future layout. It's just a very interesting patterned or colored floral in my mind. So I'm getting this all figured out, and I'm gonna go grab it's a pink cardstock out of my stash. It matches quite well, actually, the darker pink that you can find in little bits of the collection. I don't have a lot of papers that have it in it yet anymore. But I'm gonna mat this blue floral on that, and then I'm gonna mat the orange and light pink floral on pieces of the dark blue floral. I'm going to mat the pink chevron on black, and then I'm gonna mat the dark blue floral on that pink or mauve, if you want to call it, as well. And I really like all the colors, and that's what a good way to bring in a bunch of color and a bunch of different patterns without having them like really in your face is matting everything on another color or pattern. Get a super colorful layout. I feel like I could have probably added something to this page, but I really like just the colors and the patterns all being focal and being kind of the star of the show. So after I get everything glued down, I am going to pop my photos up on foam and kind of glue them together. And then I'm going to go through all the ephemera and the stickers and try and figure out what the heck I want to use. Really liking the way this looks. Yeah, so while I finish matting all those photo or papers and cutting them down, I want to invite you to keep watching this series. I'm really liking this and using their sketches. I'm going to keep going into 2022. I don't believe, I'm going to check right now while we're talking. I don't believe there were new sketches, but there might have been. Let's see. Let's go see, shall we? No. So in January, she kind of stopped at week 49. So there are, and she kind of started mid-year. So yeah, there's only 2 years of sketches, which is fine. We will continue on. Obviously. Yeah, I really like this sketch. Looking at it now, the long paper should have probably been tucked in. Now that I'm looking at it bigger, blown up, but that's okay. I like the way I have it. You really, I mean, when you have this many layers and things, you can kind of do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But yeah, the sketch actually really lends to, it looks like maybe even some mixed media on some of the layers. Just a lot of layering, and I love it. I really wish I would have had some tags small enough to tuck in on the side there, but my little floral cluster is okay. And a banner that went the right way. I was finding banners that went the like opposite way, so they would have worked on the right hand side instead of the left hand side of the photos. I'm glad I found a cute little journaling strip. When I'm just going to talk about the storm that knocked out the tree, and that my son called it the sad tree. I didn't do stitching around the edge. They did on the sketch, and it's gorgeous. I love it. But I like that I did a really thick border of black, and my paper has lines on it, so that works. And it is so crooked. It is not cut straight at all. I'm looking at it. Nope. But I'm going to Frankenstein some E's. My title is going to be Sad Tree. I really love these alphas that came with this collection, which I'll be getting to here in a minute on here. I somehow ended up with 2 sets of the 6 sticker sheet, so got to use up some of those. But I'm going to Frankenstein some E's because I've used all my E's, which works really well because there's 2 C's, and then there's like the semicolons are slightly curved, the bottom part of it. So I just tack that onto the C, and it works quite well. It does not really look that Frankenstein, so I'm pretty proud of that. But just gonna put the sad tree title. I'll put it down the left, just like in the sketch. And I really like my photos kind of all layered together. The ones on the sketch aren't quite. They are sort of, but not completely. But I'm, once again, fine with that. Wish I would have realized that one paper is tucked in. I could have saved some paper. Oh well. Oh, well, she says. Oh, well. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. We will go for another year because there's almost another year's worth of sketches. It only goes to week 49, I believe, for the next year. Let me triple check that again. So, we will go all the way until we run out. So, then we'll have to figure out if we want to keep doing sketches or maybe we'll just join Sarah. Since she does Sketches Reimagined. I joined in with her a few times. So maybe by the end of this next year, we'll just end up doing that instead. But I'm really glad I found these Dusty Attic sketches. And I've been enjoying playing with them. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. So here's a few close-ups. I thank you again for subscribing. If you haven't, please do that. And make sure you hit the bell on if you want notification when I post a video. Otherwise, click it off. And then you can come check back and binge watch whenever you want. Have a good day, guys.